National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says tomorrow it will stop providing data from a defense satellite program known for helping to track hurricanes and monitor global conditions. The agency's internal notice says service changes are behind the decision to end data ingestion. The satellite system has been in use for decades as a tool for forecasting.
The Department of Defense abruptly shutting down its satellite data delivery program, and it's sending meteorologists scrambling.
Are going to be cases this year when certain warnings are delayed because of this. It might mean that evacuations get delayed because of this, and you could lose lives because of this.
This is a huge deal, especially when you consider the fact that we are just getting into hurricane season. We haven't even reached the peak of hurricane season. The forecasters say they are extremely concerned, and that's because they're only going to receive about half the data they're used to, which makes it problematic when you think about accuracy as well as tracking a hurricane in real time. As you take a look at the video from previous hurricane seasons, starting Monday, June 30th, the Department of Defense is going to stop ingesting, processing, and transmitting real-time microwave data collected aboard 3 weather satellites. Meteorologists say this is going to severely impede and degrade hurricane forecasts for this season and beyond, and as a result, impacting tens of millions of Americans who live in hurricane-prone areas. Hurricane experts say without this satellite imagery, there's going to be an increased risk of sunrise surprise, meaning when the sun goes down and then comes up, a hurricane could rapidly intensify, gain speed, perhaps become more powerful, and make landfall sooner than expected.
Big breaking news right now. Former head of the NOAA, Richard Spinrad, has come out publicly and stated that he's convinced that the Trump and Musk DOGE staff cuts to FEMA are directly tied to the catastrophic events from the Texas flood. Spinrad says that after a forecast is issued, there's usually a warning coordination meteorologist who makes sure to coordinate with people on the ground to ensure that they're safe. But that was one of the positions that was vacant thanks to Musk and Trump.
I am convinced that the staff cuts that we saw were a contributing factor to the inability of the emergency managers to respond. The staffing was just fine, and the White House has concurred with this to get the forecast out, to get the watches and warnings issued. But when you send a message, there's no guarantee it's being received, so someone needs to follow up, and that's the warning coordination meteorologist, a position that was vacant.
Suspect the folks did their job, but I don't know under what circumstances or conditions. A lot of the weather forecast offices now are not operating at full complement of staff, which means that you're really putting an extra burden on these folks. I don't know how much that was a factor in what happened in Texas this weekend. Pick your favorite football team, and now imagine that team has, instead of 11 players, has 8 players. They're going to lose. No matter how good they are, they can't do the job of the full team. And that's what's happening at NOAA, is these are outstanding scientists, wonderful technicians, terrific policy folks. But if we don't have enough of them doing the job, then something falls off the table. Without research, without staff to do the work, we can assume that the predictions, and not just hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, drought, wildfires, tsunamis, for that matter, are undoubtedly going to degrade. And that means that people's ability to prepare for these storms will be compromised. It undoubtedly means that additional lives will be lost and probably more property damage. And so you don't get the quality of the forecast and the watches and warnings and alerts if you don't have the people and the observational capabilities, and you can't fly the planes or the satellites are not giving you the data. You're going to suffer.